Okay, we're live on YouTube and recording.
All right, thank you, Casey. This is the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners meeting on Monday, February 18th, 2021. It is 3:01 p.m. and we are meeting virtually. First item on the agenda is call the meeting to order. I have done so, and we have a quorum. Commissioner Hall and I constitute a quorum. Commissioner Jacobson is excused from this meeting. Next item on our agenda would be adoption of the consent calendar. These are items of a routine nature or items that have come before the board before. If a commissioner or staff wish to highlight an item, you may do so now. Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the consent calendar as presented.
Mr. Chair, I would so move.
And I'll second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
I heard two ayes. That motion passes. Next item would be the reports. And our first report, as is the case or custom, would be a public health COVID-19 update. And we have Deputy Public Health Director Florence Portal with us. And I believe we also have Director of Public Health Rebecca Austin with us. So ladies, it's yours, and I'll trust Florence, you probably get to go first.
All right, good afternoon, commissioners and everybody. First, as usual, we'll start with a review of where we stand as of today in terms of cases in Lincoln County. So when I put the report this morning, we had a total of 1,105 cases of COVID-19 that had been reported to us since the beginning of the pandemic. As you can see, and we've seen this for pretty much the months of January, we're seeing a very slight trend down in terms of cases being reported to us. So that's encouraging. It's not it's not going to take us to the moderate risk category yet, but if we continue on steadily, we might get there at some point. Casey, you can scroll down. No, you might want to go up. We missed the graph. There you go. Thank you. Finally, Commissioner Hunt, we have data. Yay! That is all the way to the end of January. And as you can see, our test positivity rate is nicely declining in Lincoln County, which is, good news, especially if we had been able to maintain the testing numbers we had previously. So you can scroll down now. Thank you. So as usual, we like to show you kind of like this month by month reports of COVID-19 that we've been investigating. And so in February, to date, we're at 39 cases reported to us. So we're hoping that's not going to go too much more. 39 a week would make what? Over
160.
Yeah, so that would be a little bit less than January if we were to keep it this way. You can scroll down.
So Florence, I'll ask a question here. Well, actually, I jumped ahead. So go ahead, explain this graph, then I'll ask my question.
So this graph, as you remember, is the graph that shows us where we stand in the risk framework. So the red line, the red horizontal line, is the extreme risk category, kind of like low limit. And then the yellow dotted one is the high risk category, low limit. And so the high risk category goes between 100 cases per 100,000 and 200 cases per 100,000. Based on the numbers we had those last 2 weeks, we are at about 153.3. cases per 100,000, which maintains us nicely, within the high risk category at this time.
So my question is, there really are two criteria, which are the two graphs we've looked at, the percentage of positives where we're actually getting close to the moderate level, but we're still really kind of smack dab in the middle of the high level, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
So one area we're doing fairly well, and the other we've got, well, we're doing good, but if we want to get to the next lower category, we've got to have fewer cases.
Exactly right.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So this is what I have in terms of cases of COVID. I'm happy to move on to the vaccines if you would like. Okay.
Is that okay, Commissioner Hall? I see you nodding your head affirmatively.
Yes, no questions on that.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. So those are numbers that have been published by the state of Oregon, the Oregon Health Authority. So as you can see, it reports that we being all the partners within Lincoln County have vaccinated over 5,000 people at this time, including first and second doses. And the very good news that I wanted to put forward is that we learned last week on Thursday that Lincoln County is going to receive 900 doses, or actually we received them this morning. So we received 900 doses of prime doses, like the first dose of the Moderna vaccine, and then we received 100 doses of the booster shot. And so this is very exciting. And once we learned this, we decided to set up 3 clinics that are starting tomorrow. So we have 2 clinics that are going to be held in Lincoln City. They're both going to be at the Taft Fire Station. One is already full, I believe, and it's tomorrow. And the next one is going to be on Friday. And we have another one on Thursday at the fairgrounds in Newport. That's going to be a very, very big clinic where we're trying to get over 700 people vaccinated. So pretty much our goal this week is to use all of those 900 prime doses and vaccinate. So the people who are vaccinating this week are the people who had not yet signed up and who were eligible under phase 1A. So, healthcare workers, caregivers, or people who need home care, or people who live with developmental disabilities, foster homes, staff and residents. So we did some really important outreach for the past few weeks now, and we feel very comfortable that most phase 1A folks are going to be able to get a vaccine this week. And then we reached out again to phase 1B educators, and I believe we had about 70 on the wait list. So they have been asked to schedule themselves for an appointment this week. And then we are opening it up to people on our wait list, 80 and older. And so I believe we sent an email earlier this afternoon to people who had registered themselves on the wait list, and they are now eligible to get a vaccine. So this is what I have.
So, Commissioner Hall, any questions?
Yes, I do have one, at least one, Mr. Chair. Well, Florence, first off, just want to say great news. And, once again, it sure sounds like you and the team are mobilizing to get shots in arms with maximum efficiency. Now, when this informational packet was sent out to the commissioners earlier this afternoon. I looked on our website, and the 3 clinics, unless I missed it, the 3 clinics this week are not listed on our website yet. Will they be?
So we can list them for information purposes only, but what we're not doing is that we're not opening up the schedule to the public. And the reason for that is, as you may remember, people have been really eager to be put on a wait list and to be contacted when they're eligible. So we have had this wait list going for a few weeks now, and we have over 5,000 people on that wait list. And so what we've been doing is really go through and sort people, like, because we've required, hey, are you phase 1A, are you an educator, are you 80 plus, etc. And so we're able to sort, and then we sent an email to those folks, providing them with the links for those clinics so that they're able to either register themselves directly or call the call center and be helped. But so we could possibly post on the website those clinics so people know, but those clinics would not be open to the public.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there, but I would like to encourage you to do that. I think, it just helps in communicating to the public, letting people know that additional clinics are taking place. And, I know I've heard from, and I imagine Commissioner Hunt and Commissioner Jacobson have heard from people too, that, the reactions have been overwhelmingly positive, but then again, some people saying after the initial round of vaccination clinics at the Commons Fairgrounds, people saying, well, are you going to do clinics outside of Newport too? And just letting them know. I know you've talked about making arrangements for Waldport clinics, and I think it's just good to let the public know that we are coming to them to the greatest extent possible.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll definitely do that. And just to piggyback on what you were discussing about location in Waldport. So we went last week, and we're very lucky to make contact with the city of Waldport, and they had 2 locations to offer to us. And I think what we're going to do is move with the community center, because it's a little bit more conducive to a vaccination clinic in terms of the way it's laid out, and there is plenty of parking outside for people to park. So I believe the city manager told us that they would be willing to pretty much let us use that location until we're through with vaccination, which is really exciting. I'm meeting on Wednesday with the Oregon Coast Community College School of Nursing to see if they would be willing to take on the staffing for that clinic. So this is also very exciting, to know that we would be able to possibly staff those clinics on a weekly basis moving forward. So yeah, more to come on this. We're working out the logistical details at this time. But yeah, we're making some progress. We're also looking at a location in Toledo, and we're having a conversation with Siletz Tribe tomorrow morning. So, we're really trying to cover as many areas in the county as possible.
Okay, and a follow-up if I could. I think I raised this earlier, and now as we're making more progress on the list, are you looking at strategies to reach, I know we've got a lot of folks who are completely homebound or all but homebound. If there's going to be any practical way to, bring the shots to them?
Yes, so we started a conversation with in-home care health worker, and to try to figure out how we reach out people who are homebound. We're also having a conversation with Meals on Wheels to see if their, participants who are eligible for the vaccine, first of all, want the vaccine, and then work with those in-home care worker to see if they could be delivering the vaccine to them.
Mm-hmm. Great news. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I think the questions I had have pretty much been covered, but I will suggest that in sharing the information on the website about the locations, that maybe there's some verbiage that indicates that the county is reaching out to the people that have already registered for participation at those clinics, so that it kind of clarifies the fact that we're having these clinics, but we're not taking more registrants because we've already got enough, and we're using the existing list to fill those openings or opportunities.
Right, making it as abundantly clear as possible that these aren't walk-in events.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I've been I've spent like the past few hours outreaching to people myself, to especially folks who did not receive the email because they didn't have an email address. And so we also had a lot of people who had registered who are not AT yet, so it's been great to have a conversation with folks to tell them, hey, don't worry, this week is just AT and over, and then next week, it's happening, it's gonna happen. You just need to be a little bit more patient, but people are very excited to finally get the vaccine. So that's encouraging.
So I have one last question, Florence, and I'll ask you to look in your crystal ball. And I recognize that this question is a difficult one as far as predicting the future, but at roughly 900 vaccines this week, do you expect we'll continue to get that many vaccines for the next couple of weeks? And if so, what kind of a dent will we make in the roughly 4,000 or 5,000 people that are registered? And, I guess maybe it's a case of simple math. If you get 900 doses, you're going to have 900 less people registered. So maybe my question really is, how many doses do you see us getting in the next few weeks, if you have any clue at all?
Well, so I think really OHA is the Oregon Health Authority is really trying to give us a sense of how many more doses are we going to get in the coming weeks, because so far it's been very week by week, and so it's really hard to kind of plan. And so apparently we should be expecting a similar allotment for next week and the week after that. So that would be 900 doses. So if that is the case, we're going to be able to vaccinate 900 people, or a little bit more, because 90 doses is, with 90 vials has been giving us a little bit, it's more than.
That'll get us close to 1,000, won't it? Yeah,
it's going to get us close to 1,000 a week, possibly.
Okay, so one last question, and this is probably getting in the weeds, but if we get 900 doses this week, and then next week, will we automatically be opening the age or lowering the age range to 75, or is the lowering of the age range that's eligible for the vaccine really dependent on how many of the people in the 80 plus age group are vaccinated?
So that's a very good question. So this week, just as an example, in our allotment of doses, pretty much we were told, here is that many vaccine for that category, that many vaccine for that category, that many vaccine for that category. So this is just a guideline, right? Because depending on how many people from phase 1A registered this week, it might take away from the educators. Fortunately, like most of our educators are vaccinated, so that's going to be a wash. So I think it's we're definitely, I'm hoping that we will have still doses allotted for the 80 and older, because I would like to keep outreaching to this population. And then, because we ought to open it to 75 and older, then we will open it then. But I don't know how many doses that's going to be. It's not going to be 900 doses for 75 and older, because we're gonna continue with 80 and older. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
All right, Commissioner Hall, any last thoughts or comments?
Not that I can think of, just 3 more cheers to Florence and her amazing team and to all of our great partners.
And I also want to say next week, so that's going to be an interesting logistical challenge. Next week, we already have 3 mass vaccination clinics scheduled at the fairgrounds on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for the second doses of folks who got vaccinated in January, right? So that means that the fairgrounds are going to be only available on Tuesday and possibly over the weekend, but we don't know yet if we can staff that. So, you know, we'll have to see what we can do. Just so people know, there are plenty of logistical realities that we need to take into consideration.
Yeah. Well, I will add my really heartfelt support, heartfelt appreciation for the good job that you and our partners have done. I think Lincoln County and really the Public Health Department and our partners have distinguished themselves with the effectiveness that we've exhibited in getting shots in people's arms. So keep up the good work, and you know, the words are easy, but they're sincere. So thank you.
Thank you. I'll definitely pass them on. Thank you so much.
All right. And with that, we'll move on to the Echo Mountain Complex fire update. And I'm going to guess that would be Council Belmont, as I don't think Director Kenyon is on the call.
This is Council Belmont, and I do not see Director Kenyon, so I'll try and update on 4 different things fairly quickly here. I'm going to see if I can make, oh, this will work. Hold on a minute here. I'm trying to do a visual to provide for the update. It may not work. Hold on just a second here.
We'll be patient.
Thank you. Well, it looks like it's doing the blue circle here, so it's not going to work. I'd hoped to provide a visual with the update on the direct housing assistance project on Logan Road. It is underway, and the visual I had shows the activities of installing the utilities on that particular site. So progress is being made, and there's truly equipment on the ground there that's moving forward to get those up to 21 sites available for direct housing assistance. So it was nice to see that that's moving forward. So I will share those photos separately, and I'll get Casey to post those on the site. They came from Ken Murphy, the emergency manager at the city of Lincoln City. So thank you, Ken, for assisting us. So that is moving forward.
Those photos, yeah, good.
Okay. The second thing is that there also is work underway as we speak on the debris removal and cleanup process there. And the last report I got from Director Kenyon was that several properties had already moved forward with the cleanup, and they were going to be scheduling additional properties as they go forward. So that work is proceeding. The actual cleanup is taking place up there. Extremely important. The third and fourth items are ones we've talked about before. That is the multi-agency shelter transition team continues to work with victims and to move forward for longer term alternatives for housing and other services for folks. And now a process that the county is doing with the state of Oregon as Red Cross has moved on to other things. And that process is going forward real well. We just learned late last week that there is some additional support possibly available to us. I'm working with Commissioner Jacobson to see if we can't access that support that will actually fund some of the activities and resources that we need for this particular program through June 30th of this next year. So stay tuned for that. We'll give you more information as that develops. In addition, this funding source will also help us with the other thing that we would like to really move forward with, and that's the Echo Mountain Long-Term Recovery Group. And we've been having discussions with our partners and especially nonprofits in the area there about standing up the process of long-term recovery that goes beyond just what's going to occur in the next few months, but for the next few years as we seek to return and restore the community in North Lincoln County. So it looks like that might also be eligible for some additional funding, and so we're exploring that particular avenue now too. So that's my report for today, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Commissioner Hall.
You know, I can't think of any. I mean, this is all encouraging progress. Maybe could I add something here that we haven't discussed in a while at the Board of Commissioners level, but the application for Project Turnkey that we submitted a support letter, and we've got and made a small financial commitment to it. That Oregon Community Foundation did clear the application by Northwest Coastal Housing to purchase a motel in Lincoln City for longer term housing of fire survivors. And now essentially the city of Lincoln City is, you know, reviewing, I guess, the applicable land use zoning criteria, and still, I think, in the process of determining whether or not this would require a conditional use permit from the city. But hopefully that's moving forward.
All right, thank you. That was good information. And I really have nothing to add either. I think the challenge, as I see it, is that long-term recovery group. As I indicated at our meeting last week, the challenge of finding permanent housing is something that will take certainly many months, if not a few years. So I think that's a critical part that we need to continue to address. And with that, if there's nothing more on the Echo Mountain Complex, we'll move to commissioner reports, and that would be you, Commissioner Hall, first.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. I do have a few things. One thing I should have mentioned in reports at our last meeting, but frankly it just slipped my mind, was on January 26th, I took part as the Board of Commissioners representative at really kind of the first organizational meeting for the Cascadia Rising 2022 event. And I'm sure we will be hearing a lot more about this from our emergency manager, Jenny Damaris, in future meetings. But, you know, the interesting historical coincidence that and I don't think they even realized it when they planned the date of that meeting, that was the 321st anniversary of the last major Cascadia subduction zone earthquake. So, you know, as we say, we're due if we're not overdue. And this is the first Cascadia Rising exercise, I believe, in 6 years maybe. And it involves the states of Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Alaska, FEMA, and federally recognized Indian tribes in a 4-day real-time exercise playing out a scenario of a 9.0 Cascadia event. So, you know, we've had a lot of follow-ups, improvements, I think, in our emergency preparedness as a result of the last Cascadia Rising exercise, and we'll continue to move in that direction. Our voices, I think, were heard, not only our board, but all of our partners in registering formal protest with the Oregon Health Authority about us being denied an allocation of primary doses of the COVID vaccine last week. And it's pleasing to know that our voice, along with others, has apparently been heard, and that the proposal in the governor's budget to dismantle DOGAMI, the Department of Geology and Mineral Industries, is apparently dead in the legislature. And as we discussed in in adopting a resolution of support for DOGAMI a few weeks ago, it just absolutely plays a critical role in many things, including generating the maps and other tools that we need to be prepared for, not only a major Cascadia event, but all kinds of lesser natural disasters and challenges that we have to negotiate on our coastal landscape. So that's what I've got.
All right, well, and I'll certainly echo your comments on DOGAMI. I think it kind of reminds me of when the federal government was going to close the Coast Guard station in Newport, and I pointed out that on the East Coast, I've done it. You can swim in the Atlantic Ocean. I've done that off the shores of Connecticut, but it's not very likely you could do it very long if the shores of Oregon. And I think DOGAMI is an example too of people in the areas of the state that aren't close to the coast or other large bodies of water don't understand the real criticalness of DOGAMI. So the fact that will continue to be an independent department, I think, is good news for all of us along the coast. The only other thing I would add is it is budget time. The county has started our budget process with the internal preparation of budgets starting to take shape, and public meetings have been scheduled as is required under budget law in May. And of course, as is required by law, a balanced budget will be presented to the budget committee for those meetings in May. And if I remember correctly, we have Carrie Boyd and John Baird, and I forget who the third person is. Linda Roy. Those three individuals with the three commissioners constitute the county budget team. So budget process is starting. With that, if there's nothing more on reports, we'll move to public comment. And I think, Casey, we've talked about presenting information in a little more detailed. There we go. We felt it was important for people to see names so that they're able to understand that the input has been received, and there's dates that that input was received. Can you scroll down slowly through those names, Casey? We got a lot of input on the 20th, didn't we? The 21st?
Yeah.
All right, that takes us.
And pardon me there, Chair. Yeah, some of it has already been posted from former meetings, but this is our spreadsheet that receives the input as it comes in. So then we transfer that to the website.
Yeah. And again, this would be information that would have been received through 1 o'clock today. Next week, we'll show information that's been received since 1 o'clock today until 1 o'clock on Tuesday, excuse me. All right. If there's no other public comment, anything else to bring before the meeting, Commissioner Hall?
I have nothing, Chair Hunt.
Council Belmont?
Nothing more, Commissioner.
All right, with that, our next meeting of the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners will be held virtually on Tuesday, February 16th at 3 p.m. Monday is President's Day. It is a federal holiday and some of the county offices will be closed. So until Tuesday, February 16th at 3 p.m., we are adjourned.
This conference is no longer being recorded.